It is the end of an era, the longest reigning king to Taylor Swift's heart, and the main character to the anthology of her life, Joe Alwyn, has been written off. The main guy has been killed off by the auteur herself, Taylor Swift. Dearly beloved, we gather here today to conduct a post-mortem to see what truly happened to this relationship and how it ended. I want to read Joe's eulogy, aka his send-off, track 5 on the Tortured Poets Department, So Long London, his official proclamation of severance from the TSCU, the Taylor Swift Cinematic Universe. And as we hear his Hunger Games canon go off in the sky and pay him one final respect, I want to look at his journey that his character has been on, from saving her from her darkest days, showing her the daylight yet again, to then committing a crime just as bad as the people he saved her from in the first place. So long, Joe Alwyn. You were a stupid But before we get into everything, make sure you enroll here at Pop Culture University with Professor Patty and become a student to learn everything going on in the world of pop culture, because we are a group of intellectuals who like to try our best to intellectualize pop culture and find some value from it, something that we can take away. We are actually learning about the culture here and learning important stories about people's lives. So you should enroll, also be a teacher's pet, and like the video, comment, share the video, do all of the above, or I'll bring you to the front of the room and spank you on the booty with a ruler. Okay, students, let's get into it. So Joe Alwyn was truly the biggest muse of Taylor Swift's life, and I'm jealous. Like, that is my favorite thing about him. He must have done something right to be the muse of her life, because to me, Joe Alwyn is just the epitome of a nothing person. He's the epitome of just some guy. You know what I'm saying? He sounds like the most passive, lame, boring guy who just likes to waste someone's time, and honestly, is just some guy to me. So the only thing he's ever done right is be her biggest muse. He probably has over 40 songs that were inspired in part, at least, by him in the Taylor Swift iconic discography. Not all about him. Each individual song is just not about him, but he's in the ensemble of characters that those songs are about. Probably featured on over 40 songs. Comparatively, other men in the TSCU, Joe Jonas only has 2 songs about him. Taylor Lautner, 1 song about him. We Pity Him. John Mayer, maybe like 7 or 8. After Midnights, Jake Gyllenhaal, like the whole Red album, so like 15. Harry Styles, like around the same as John Mayer. Karlie Kloss and Diana Agron maybe have 1, depending on what conspiracy theorists you ask. Scooter Braun, Scott Borchetta are reoccurring characters. Kim and Kanye are reoccurring characters, but no one holds even a candle to the amount of songs Joe Alwyn has written about him. So I want to go through the whole journey that his character has been on. And students, if you are not even a Swiftie, I think this is still interesting information to know, just to deeply understand the whole rabid obsession that people have with Taylor Swift's music, because he is the muse of all of it. He is the muse. Joe Alwyn is the muse. So if you don't know who Joe Alwyn is, students, they met at the Met, like literally the most opulent place you could meet someone, so romanticized. So they met at the Met Gala in 2016. She made it very obvious that she met him that night because she sings a song, "Flashback to When You Met Me, Your Hair Buzzed and My Hair Bleached." So quite romantic. He is a 33-year-old English actor. He's about a year and a half younger than Taylor Swift. You probably don't know him, but if you did by chance, you would know him from the movie The Favorite. He's also about to be in a new movie called Kinds of Kindness in a few months with another muse of the Taylor Swift Cinematic Universe, Emma Stone. When Emma Falls in Love, have you heard of it? That kind of annoys me. It doesn't seem karmic that he gets to have his big break after the big breakup. That doesn't go along with my fantasy. But for their whole time together, he really seemed to just be like the stay-at-home Nepo boyfriend. So I want to recount his character's whole journey, the whole character arc that led us to his dooming day, the day TTPD came out and he got a track 5. Because the track 5 is usually the nail in the coffin for the man that she's with. He avoided the landmine of the track 5 for 5 albums until he finally got his severance package on the Tortured Poets Department. But let's start when they were in love, because Taylor really did go through the 5 stages of grief when she lost him. I think she thought she was put on the earth to be with Joe Alwyn. She literally references in a song that she was born to be with him. She worships their relationship like it's a false god. She was more enamored with him than anyone in her whole life, and she thought they were born to be together. He was the one to her. So when they ended things, it was like going through the 5 stages of grief. And I think these albums that he's been featured on kind of reflect the 5 stages of grief, because it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows and lover and pastel airbrush colors like people thought it was for the whole time. It was actually super tumultuous. So I want to go through the 5 stages of grief and the 5 albums that he has been featured on. So first I want to start with Reputation. Now Reputation, she was down in the dumps. That was the darkest days of her life. She was not being seen with anyone. She was not going out. She wasn't seen for a year because she didn't think anyone wanted to see her after she was canceled off the face of the earth. Hashtag Taylor Swift is over party. Kim and Kanye's stock was up. She really went down bad when that whole situation happened. So she never thought anyone was going to love her for her ever again, because her whole complex in her mind was decimated when the whole world thought she was a bad girl, because she knew in her heart she wasn't a bad guy, but she thought she'd be framed. And have you ever seen her interview on Ellen DeGeneres where she talks about one of her biggest fears ever is being framed?
I'm scared of getting framed.
Who would frame you and for what?
So many people would frame me.
So she got framed in 2016, and the only person who liked her at that time or was there to save her with like this reaching hand out from the clouds in the sky, a Hail Mary, was Joe Alwyn. So I think that's why she's so trauma bonded to him. Plus they hid away together for over a year. So even though this is the first album about him, the album is truly a love story that has a very specific tone of, this person loves me against all odds. My reputation has never been worse, but you must like me for me. But she really jumped to conclusions, and she was like, wow, this guy who I met when everyone hated me must be my husband. So she sings many like songs about wanting to be with him forever just on the first album, probably only after knowing him for a few months. His character's journey starts with the song Endgame. It really goes crazy. The song Endgame is how she knew right off the bat she wants Joe Alwyn to be her endgame, her first string, her A-team, her endgame. And unfortunately that did not happen. But then further along on the Reputation album is the song King of My Heart. The king of her heart. Already, she ponders, is this the end of all the endings? My broken bones are mending with all these nights we're spending. Is this the end of all the endings? Because all at once, you are the one I have been waiting for, the king of my heart, my body and soul. All at once, you're all I want. I'll never let you go. King of my heart, body and soul. I want to get into the identifiable traits of his character that she sings about, because Taylor says her 1 ounce of pride is that she'll never say who her songs are about, but she makes it extremely obvious. And his character's traits are all about the metaphors of London and kings and queens and the heartbreak prince. And since they live in separate parts on the earth, she'll refer to him as a whole city or a whole town. And she'll refer to their relationship like being trapped in a castle or a tower or something. Like, those are all the personifications she has for their relationship. So whenever those come up, you know she's singing about Joe. So the second album, Lover, is when she has been shown the sun by her lover. And this album should really just be named Joe Alwyn, because she was trying to portray to us that she has only been with this guy for a couple years, but it's the one she's going to end up with. This is the first time a character has been given even the idea of being married. I guess Jake Gyllenhaal kind of got the prospect of being her husband. On the song Better Man, she sings, you could have been the one if you were a better man. But the first character who would frequently get the idealization of marriage was Joe Alwyn. And not since and not before has that ever happened. So he was very special. The whole Lover album was like her subtly dropping hints that she needs to marry him immediately. So of course the song Lover, she sings kind of like symbolizing a marriage, the actual ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand? With every guitar string scar on my hand, I take this magnetic force of a man to be my lover. Can I go where you go? Can we always be this close forever and ever? Wow, that's really bold of her. It's interesting that she wanted to jump right to the Like, I want to use my marriage card in a song with him, because I'm sure she was saving that stuff for the guy who she really thought she was going to marry. So I'm like, she was like, let's give it to Joe, because I'm going to marry him so I can write songs about marriage now. I'm so excited. She continues, more subtle hint dropping on the song Paper Rings. She sings, I like shiny things, but I'd marry you with paper rings. You're the one that I want. Would this scare another guy off, having a whole album about him, like where she's basically expecting you to propose in 6 months? We're not secondhand embarrassed, but he did not propose for many years after that. So that's kind of unfortunate. He has other songs written about him on the album, like London Boy. You know I love a London boy. I enjoy walking Soho, drinking in the afternoon. London boy, I fancy you. But on Lover, I feel like this is where the 5 stages of grief start, but she just doesn't know it yet. Like, everyone else except her knows it, because the album is framed as, you know, the marriage album, the beginning of my one true love story. But there's all these pings of doubt and all these pings of anxious attachment syndrome to Joe already. So a lot of people, I saw someone on Twitter be like, Lover is more so an album about starting being in denial by having this guy that you know is so special and so perfect, but in the back of your mind, you're already seeing things that are going to be non-negotiables and break you guys up at some point in the future, but you're just hoping beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can make it. There's songs like Cornelia Street, where she gets so anxious and she says, if you ever leave me, I'll never be able to walk Cornelia Street ever again, because even just walking on that pavement would be too painful. Death by 1,000 Cuts. Saying goodbyes, death by 1,000 cuts. Flashbacks, waking me up. I get drunk and it's not enough because the morning comes and you're not my baby. She has songs like Afterglow that depict them fighting. And there's a lot of depictions of them fighting each other for the worst and accidentally inflicting damage upon themselves. In the Afterglow, she sings, fighting with my true love is like boxing with no gloves, because then you hurt your own hands. Very sad. On False God, she sings about how she kind of worships it. She worships this love like it's a god, but she knows it's a false god. It's like she knew they were going to end already, even on the album that was supposed to be about their marriage. Very sad. So we get into Folklore, and I feel like this is where the denial really happens. The stages of grief start with denial, and I think she was so down in the dumps about the prospect of them starting to have real issues that we just couldn't see, that she almost didn't want to show the public what was going on with her. Maybe she thought it would be too secondhand embarrassing. She was talking about how writing autobiographical albums can feel like a public autopsy in front of everyone, and how it's just too painful sometimes. So a part of me thinks she just wanted to write about fiction because she didn't want to have the album after Lover be a breakup album. Maybe she wouldn't have liked that for her ego or something. But there are some very obviously non-fiction autobiographical songs, because on the song Exile, it sounds like they're writing a breakup and singing about how they already know their love is going to end. And I say they because Joe has writing credits on the song. I think they were like writing songs about each other together in COVID, because what else were they going to do? It's almost a little dark and macabre to write about your own breakup before it happens. Or maybe they were broken up, but they couldn't leave the house together, so they ended up getting back together. I wonder if they would have lasted without COVID. But it's very interesting, and that song does make me cry, like that one Swiftie who is sitting in the parking lot, like screaming her face off when it came on that the whole internet kind of clowned. But on Exile, they kind of sing back and forth together. I never learned to read your mind. You never learned to read my mind. I couldn't turn things around. You never turned things around. Because you never gave a warning sign. I gave so many signs, so many signs, so many signs. I think I've seen this film before and I didn't like the ending. That's very sad. Like, that's when I think they really acknowledge their impending doom, but yet they're both still in denial about it, because they did stay together for more than 3 years after they wrote this. Very interesting. When it comes to Joe, she often sings about how he's very depressed, or how he likes to stay depressed. She talks about his blues a lot, and their sky, and how the sky is gray a lot. But Joe seems to like that. He fosters that sort of environment with her. He doesn't let the sunlight in, as if she is like locked away in a tower. And I think in COVID, she normalized it, and that's why the disillusionment of their relationship happened in Midnights after the COVID era was kind of over. I also want to mention, before we leave the Folklore era, the song Hoax. She sings, you knew it still hurt underneath my scars from when they pulled me apart, but what you did was just as dark. Darling, this was just as hard as when they pulled me apart. So she's saying he's the one who put her back together after she was destroyed by the whole world. But he did something so bad that it's just as bad as what all those people did. We still don't know what he did in the confines of their castle in London that they spent COVID in, but it makes you wonder, what the hell did Joe Alwyn do? I feel like we will never know, but it's interesting that she says he did something so bad yet stayed with him for a couple more years. That's a direct through line to his character's story in Exile too. She said, "You drew stars around my scars and now I'm bleeding." He built her up and patched up her wounds just to break them open again. On the Evermore album, we get into the anger part of the stages of grief. And she sings in the song Tolerate It, which is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs of all time. It just perfectly encapsulates the question, like, does my lover even love me? What do I mean to them? Am I just here to fulfill some void within them and I'm not, really pinging on their heart like I should? I'm kind of just like furniture in their house that comforts them. She says, "If it's all in my head, tell me now. Tell me I've got this wrong somehow. I know my love should be celebrated, but you tolerate it. While you were out building other worlds, where was I? Where's that man who threw blankets over my barbed wire? I made you my temple, my mural, my sky. Now I'm begging for footnotes in the story of your life." Like I said, she often compares him to a sky, whether it's blue or gray or daylight. In Lover, she said love was like daylight. The whole sky was open, but it was quickly clouded by something he did in the Evermore and Folklore era that I think he only got away with because it was COVID and we were all kind of stuck. The song Champagne Problems makes me question because I think she was having some sort of like dark, twisted fantasy of him proposing to her. I think she wanted it so bad and she wanted to write a song about him proposing to her so bad it wanted to give it a happy ending. But at this point, I bet you she was on her piano and fantasizing about the moment that he proposes, but realized if he did, she wouldn't be able to say yes because she knows something is wrong. She's kind of mad at him. She kind of hates him right now. Don't know why they were even still together, but she sings, "You just don't know the answer to the question until someone's on their knees and ask you. She would have made such a lovely bride. What a shame she's fucked in the head. But you'll find the real thing instead, and he'll patch up your tapestry that I shred." They clearly have broke each other down so much. They fought without their gloves. They've exiled each other from their lives. He did something so bad he broke up her scars, clouded her sky, that he opened himself. What the fuck is wrong with you, Joe Alwyn? Who the fuck do you think you are? Let's go on to Midnights. So this is where I think the bargaining part of the stages of denial come in, because Midnights comes in hot, but it also comes in a hot mess. It's a bit confusing. No one can really get a feel for what is going on in Taylor Swift's personal life, and that was intentional. Something else she does with his character in her work is she likes to mask him a little bit and try to masquerade it behind it being fiction or it being from the past. So Folklore and Evermore were fictionalized stories, but absolutely were not fiction. And then since she didn't want to write another fictionalized story because she knew people would miss her autobiographical work, she had to say that Midnights was actually still autobiographical, but it was from 13 Sleepless Nights in her past, like way in the past. So we thought these old characters were going to come back. When the album came out, I remember it was such a fun night trying to sleuth and, be crackheads and find out every little decoding detail we can. People were like, Midnight Rain is about Taylor Lautner. What Shoulda Coulda is about John Mayer. And those things might be true. But I think a lot of them were about her relationship with Joe kind of ending. So I think the bargaining comes in with the song Bejeweled. She sings, "I made you the world, but have you heard? I can reclaim the land. And I miss you, but I miss sparkling. When I meet the band and they ask, do you have a man? I can say, I don't remember. So you better let me shine. You better love me right or I will leave you. I'm kind of on my last peg here." And I wonder if the band was in reference to Maddie Healy. Maybe they were starting to have an illicit affair together. A part of me still thinks illicit affair is about Maddie Healy, but we can get into that in another video. She has a lot of other songs about their relationship, either about to be together forever or crash and burn in flames. And a lot of these songs are like a heartbeat monitor that is starting to flatline, but is not completely there yet. But at any moment, like, you better hug your grandma goodbye because she's about to fucking flatline. It's like, beep, beep. So on songs like Labyrinth, Sweet Nothing, Bigger Than the Whole Sky, and Glitch, and The Great War, they're all about, okay, this relationship is about to end, but let's try to hang on. Okay, I thought we were really done this time, but then he did that one thing that got me to come back, but is it worth it? You know, she sings, I thought the plane was going down. How'd you turn it right around? Oh no, I'm falling in love again. She sings this very obvious reference to their relationship. It's been a 2,190 days of our love blackout. The system's breaking down. I think there's been a glitch because 5 seconds later, I'm fasting myself to you again, and I'm not even sorry. Nights are so starry, blood moonlit, it must be counterfeit. So that number 2,190 is the exact number of 6 years of a relationship blackout, but for some reason, she just goes back to him. And then songs like Bigger Than the Whole Sky kind of make it seem like she's preparing herself to say goodbye. She's starting to get into the acceptance phase, but is also really depressed. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You were bigger than the whole sky. You were more than just a short time. Because a sky is something his character was often referred to. But the Midnight's album was almost the purgatory of their relationship. Like, I don't know if we're done. I don't know if we're still on. It's kind of just this awkward in between. Until the official announcement came out after Midnight's was released in April 2023 that they were Jover. They are over. Joe is over. He's being flushed back to obscurity. They had a prenup in their relationship, and Taylor's keeping all the clout. She's keeping all the money, all the fame, all the fans. He gets nothing. And he's relinquished back into the homeless streets. There was that photo of him looking like quite disheveled after their breakup. So if Midnight's was like the depression phase, I think these 2 tracks that were initially cut from Midnight's because they were too definitive and like too much of a bold statement of we're over. You're Losing Me and Hits Different. And I think You're Losing Me was like the official breakup song to the fans. And I like how she likes to keep her fans in the loop. But in You're Losing Me, there's a bunch of devastating lyrics like, you say, I don't understand, and I say, I know you don't. We thought a cure would come through in time, now I fear it won't. Do I throw out everything we built or keep it? I'm getting tired of rising like a phoenix, rising from the ashes, mending all her gashes. You might just have dealt the final blow. Just those 2 paragraphs right there, that first verse, there's so much imagery that is the invisible string that connects all the Joe songs. Like her saying, you say I don't understand, I say I know you don't. In exile, I sent you all these signs, you didn't see the signs. They just never really saw eye to eye, like she said in Exile too. When she says, do I throw out everything we built or keep it? I think that kind of can exhibit why they were together for so long when they shouldn't have been. Isn't there like a theory called like the sunken cost theory where you think you've wasted so much time on something or someone or some job or some way of life, like you have to stick with it forever because you chose with it, and you think you'd be throwing away everything that you have been investing in this whole time if you just throw it away. But really the worst thing is staying with it for even longer because then it's even a bigger waste. I think maybe that's what she was thinking. Like, do I throw out everything we built or keep it? I don't know. I think that could explain why they were together for so long. I also think Joe is just like a passive motherfucker. He is like too polite to break up with her, too polite to end things. Isn't there a lyric like that where she says something about how he was just too nice to break up with her? Then in reference to like the 40 sad songs written about them throughout their relationship, she sings in You're Losing Me, how long could we be a sad song till we were too far gone to bring back to life? I gave you all my best me's, my endless empathy, and all I did was bleed as I tried to be your bravest soldier. Stop, you're losing me. You're losing me. You're losing me. And she's truly the best thing that's ever happened to him. So weird that he would just let that slip, but some people are flops like that. Some people are losers like that, and I guess that's just what Joe Alwyn is. So the Tortured Poets department is really where we thought, you know, we're gonna get this huge eulogy of Joe. It's gonna be his full breakup album, and he really only has a couple songs about him there, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, she already went through the stages of grief. She's given us the songs. We get the vibe. Why waste any more time on him? Like I was saying, you know, you already spent so much with him. Why spend any more even singing about him? But just to give it a feeling of finality, is that a word? gives him the track 5, and it's very directly called So Long London. And I think she was afraid of this for so long because she was so anxiously attached to Joe. She always wanted to keep it ambiguous on other tracks how they were doing because she didn't want to lose him. And in one interview in the past, she was saying, like, you don't write a breakup song about someone unless you know you don't want to know them anymore, and unless you know you don't want to lose them. So I think she wanted to write about how she felt, but she never wanted to really proclaim they are over in a song because she knew they would be. But now that she's accepted it, she's in that point of the stage of grief, she can give him the track 5 called So Long London. So I want to go through the whole So Long London song because I think for us Swifties, it gives us closure to this character that we've been with for so long. London. She sings, I saw in my mind fairy lights through the mist. I kept calm and carried the weight of the rift, pulled him in tighter each time he was drifting away. My spine split from carrying us up the hill. Wet through my clothes, weary bones caught the chill. I stopped trying to make him laugh, stopped trying to draw the safe, thinking, how much sad did you think I had? How much sad did you think I had in me? Oh, the tragedy. So long, London, you'll find someone. There's so many through lines to past songs. She continues and sings, I didn't opt in to be your odd man out. I founded the club she's heard great things about. I left all I knew. You left me at the house by the heath. I stopped CPR after all, it's no use. The spirit was gone, we would never come to. And I'm pissed off you let me give you all that youth for free. No, seriously. For so long, London, you let me give you all that youth for free. That is just so fucking annoying and agonizing to me. Why would he waste her time? We have songs like Tolerated and Exiled. I'm opt in to be your odd man out. You're building other worlds while you leave me at home, as if this piece of furniture who should just sit in the rocking chair and like cook in their kitchen for him for the rest of her life and live in mediocrity. Maybe that's what he wants, but she's clearly been after a real deep love, a true love, a burning red flaming love for her whole life. And Joe just seems like one of those guys who want an average boring life, a midwife. He wants a middle of the road wife who's not that great, not that passionate, and because that's where he is. And Taylor Swift is that great and that passionate, and he wanted to bring her down there. So I just don't understand why he is such a time waster, how he had no aspirations for great love, and how he was okay with being a passive ass motherfucker. He had Taylor Swift in the palm of his hand and he just let her slip. And speaking of a burning red love, she like referred to love as like so many things in the past. She's like, love is burning red, love is black and white, love is golden like daylight. So what color is love, Taylor? Because clearly it's not daylight anymore. I should have worn black for this, but I'm wearing pink. I don't know why. Is love pussy pink? Because I'm wearing pussy pink. So maybe love is pussy pink, like Beyonce said. Anyway, let's continue on for So Long London. And you say I abandoned the ship, but I was going down with it. My white-knuckled dying grip, holding tight to your quiet resentment. And my friends said it isn't right to be scared. Every day of a love affair. Every breath feels like the rarest air. If you're not sure he wants to be there. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm gonna shoot myself. The thought of Taylor Swift going home every day to a man she wasn't sure if he loved her. I wait by the door like I'm Justin Kidd. I greet you with a battle hero's welcome, and you just tolerate it. Joe deserves prison time. Time theft. He committed time theft. He stole time from Taylor Swift. Fucking bitch. I'm so upset with you, Joe Alwyn. I'm so pissed off. She continues, so how much sad did you think I had? How much tragedy? Just how long did you think I'd go before I self-implode? Before I'd have to be free? You swore that you loved me, but where were the clues? I died on the altar waiting for proof. She died on the altar waiting for proof. You lying, sweet-talking, sweet nothing, emphasis on nothing, bitch, Joe Alwyn. She died on the altar and you just let her stand there. She set that altar up in 2019 on the Lover album and you just let her rot there for 6 years and be embarrassed like that in front of everyone. You sacrificed us to the gods of your bluest days. And I'm just getting color back into my face and I'm just mad at hell because I loved this place. For so long, London. Even right there, there's a lot of through lines. She's before talked about how his bluest days would cause a rift between them. She compares the sky to the color blue. She has talked about the color in her face with Joe before. So something about how he could tell her face was sick, but he didn't do anything about it. She's just getting color back in her face. He knew what was going on, and he was complicit to her suffering. Joe, so long, London. We have the official send-off, and even though I came for him and I roasted him in this video, it is a very noble send-off. So long, Joe. We appreciate your work. We love the songs that you gave us, and we will miss you. You're currently the heavyweight champion of the Taylor Swift Cinematic Universe. So congratulations. And thank you for joining me today, students. Go stream the Tortured Poets Department. Taylor Swift liked one of my Instagram posts this week, so I'm so excited. I'm so happy. It was like the best moment of my whole life. I truly felt like the wind got knocked out of me when I saw she liked it. I don't know. It's just so crazy. I never would have expected it. Everyone was like, congratulations, congratulations. And I love when other stans tell that to stans when like their favorite celebrity likes their post. But it was my moment in the sun. I feel like I was knighted. I was blessed. So I love you, Taylor. I'm always rooting for you. And yeah, subscribe, students. Enroll here at Pop Culture University. Like the video, be a teacher's pet, comment, subscribe, did I say that? Do all the things. TikTok is being banned, so make sure you're subscribed to me here. My Instagram, Petty Pop Culture, my Snapchat show, Unfiltered Pop, my podcast, Pop Culture University as well. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Okay, thank you guys for joining. Let me know what you think in the comments. Bye. Mwah.